Okay, so this is session 13, and this looks a little bit more interesting. We have Rajat Ojha,
Hello.
the president of Version 2 Games, and we have Ashwani Verma.
Hello.
They're going to be speaking on Smash and Survive, Postmortem of India's first PS3 game. I would like to welcome you guys.
So I'll just move around. And hello, guys. This is the postmortem of our first game, that is Smash and Survive. This is a PS3 exclusive. And in this, we're going to talk about the whole journey we have been through. Like there have been a lot of ups and downs since it was our first thing. And we had been patient throughout. So we're going to talk about how it started and how we continued our journey. I'm Rajat. I've been in this industry for 16 years. I started long back in 1994 with my own game that was done in Pascal. And I pushed it on public BBS network. That time internet was not so popular. So, and it was an instant hit. And so brief about me, I'm currently the president of Version 2 Games. And well, I'm the gamer first, then the game developer. Love playing each and every game which comes out, no matter it is good, bad. That's how we learn. And Ashwani, he'll introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Ashwani. I have a 6 years industry experience. That includes last 3.5 years with our current company. And I'm an IIT Roorkee alumni. And I have 5+ games experience on different platforms. Okay, can you see me? Yeah, I started as an AI specialist, and now I deal with some other areas like graphics and physics also. And currently I'm a technical manager.
Okay, so we are representing Version 2 Games, which is we are in operation for last 17 years, in fact. And we have pretty much all the engines and the platforms available to us already. And this particular unit, Version 2, was incorporated on 1st of September 2010, so it's like 1-year-old company right now. Our entire focus is on console. We are already partnered with Sony, Apple, and Nintendo. Apple is like not our primary device, but we use it as the promotional purposes. So these are our roots. We have been in the simulation industry for long. We have been doing car simulators, bus simulators, missiles, and all those things. I'll just give you a brief glimpse of. So this is our simulator business. So we had been doing it, and we already have licenses for these engines: Unreal, Cry, Vega, Infernals engine. This is our own engine, and then some libraries like Synapse, Bank, Miles, and all these. All these are like used in the game industry. So the similar technologies we had in our company. So why we started in game? Then, of course, why not? When we had the resources, we have the legacy in the industry of 17 years. There have been a lot of guys in our company with experience of 10 to 12 years in the graphics industry. We have all the middlewares. We have all the right people, contacts and stuff in the US. So we decided, well, let's get into the game and try. And this is how we started. In fact, we are like, this Zen technology is a CMMI, a lot of processors and other things are there. So we have, Microsoft project and other implementation. So when we use those, we came to know that there are some people who are available, who are not, actively working on our simulators. So we started pulling those guys out and started working on a simulator expertise kind of thing, which is like the vehicle game, because we had been coming from the simulator background. We had a lot of understanding about the vehicle physics and stuff. And we had options of racing or destruction derby, so we decided to do destruction derby because this was one genre which had a vacuum for long. There had been a lot of racing titles, but there had not been a good vehicle combat game after Twisted Metal. So, and we started calling it Smash and Survive. But some of the things which we did was is that we never included Smash and Survive in our project list, like the organization project list. We kept on working on this as a side project. The motive was to showcase the programming capabilities and not the art primarily. Milestones like integrating Kinaps with Zengen, that's a typical technical thing, but Kinaps is the AI library, artificial intelligence library. And we had our own proprietary engine, so we actually got this in our engine. Some of the early stages, some of the cars which we did, we wanted to do some concepts and stuff and showcase those. So these were some of the early concepts. And now I'm going to show you the first walkthrough of the thing which we had done then. That's February 2009. And this is using our own proprietary engine. This is to showcase actually what we could do. In fact, this game had the destruction and the AI and all those things. Now it's kind of problematic on the PC. And then the process started when we started sending mails to all our contact people to pass the publisher references. And one of the things which we just loved is that this industry is quite open, unlike the Bollywood industry where the celebrities are, you can't approach them easily. Here you can reach John Carmack without any problem. And then meeting confirmed with 9 publishers, and most of the people's reaction were like, what? You want to showcase a game? Because we know India as the outsourcing hub for the art and stuff. We never thought that India would do a full programming game. And this was very general comment from them. 4 publishers see the potential in the game. Actually not in the game, but in the team. That yes, they have the potential of doing this. So this gives us some confidence. The most confident response was from Sony, especially Sony Europe. I met Mr. Neil Soen over there, who's now our account manager in Sony. And he was like, they were already looking at India as PS2 kind of thing, so they were still pushing the Indian market. And post GDC, we got the comments from Sony to have characters in the game. It shouldn't be just car fighting against each other. We brainstormed several ideas. We knew that we are at the verge of getting into the game industry because the kind of response we got from the industry. And after certain discussions with Sony, we got the TPR account, third-party relationship account, and we are listed as the Sony developer partner. And Sony asked us to do a game on PS2, which we said no, because the world has moved to PS3, so why to do a PS2 game? So we clearly said no for that. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do was just to be the trendsetter and think big in the world. We didn't get into the industry to make huge money, we already have our cash cow in Zen Technologies, which is a big, rich company. So we just wanted to create a brand. So we started our relationship with Sony, and we had a lot of stupid implementation of human factor in our game. Like one guy standing with an RPG kind of thing and shooting at your car, and you still need to drive through. That was stupid. But we just wanted to have some sort of human factor. One fine day, one of our guys came with an idea. He knew that it will be approved. He said that let's do a game where a son is killed and father takes the revenge, and he had a story around it. So yes, this is it. We got our theme. We have the destruction derby now. We have the car fighting against each other. And now we have the human factor also. The game hook was destruction derby. And game hook is one of the most important thing which you need to keep consistently in your game. Some games, they, like every game is a hook. You just think of any game, whatever new or old. They have a hook and they remain persistent about it. And we came to know that the game is like, not just this, that, okay, car destruction derby, that's it. It's a big picture, you need to actually create a lot of things. So we started working on a concept design document, and these are some of the things which go in any concept design document, which talks about what are the expectations in each and every department for that thing. Then CDD was submitted to Sony Europe and Sony America. We didn't submit that to Japan because Japanese games are different and their expectations are different. And then this goes through IPA, that is International Product Assessment. And after 15 days, in one shot, we get approved. And our Zen technology was generous enough to allocate one of the conference room as the SNS room. This room used to be called as a SNS room. This is the picture of that. It was completely messed up because this was just a conference room there. They had like 3 conference rooms, so one was allocated to us. Then the weekly updates started going to the stakeholders that what is happening in the project and all. And we got our dedicated budget for this particular product. And we approached Microsoft also. They said no. Now this is a surprising thing that Microsoft sends their Xbox development kit to China, but they don't send it to India and South America for some odd reasons. So like we can't do games for Xbox till we don't have an office in US, and now we have, so we can go ahead and do that. Some of the immediate challenges we faced were like building a team without affecting, because we started mining on the internet. We started looking on the various websites. We started looking for the contest winners, and we had our referral schemes for all the employees. And we started convincing people. Of course, there were a lot of mechanisms which we used to hire. Then the second thing was outsource. We had to identify a lot of things which we could outsource, which we were not capable of, or we didn't, probably we had the capabilities, but not the right kind of, enough resources to, satisfy complete things. So we identified that the car concepts, trailers, music and sound could be outsourced. And then we identified the best guys. It was like 3 months of efforts to find the right kind of, all sort of right kind of guys in these 4 departments to find the outsourcing partner. Then we wanted a technology which could satisfy cross-platform. Just in case if we get Xbox 360 dev kit somehow, our engine should be capable enough to port immediately on the Xbox also, and PS3 already. And the proprietary engine which we had was not capable of doing PS3 or Xbox. It was just a PC thing. Even Unreal and all those licenses what we have were for PC only, because our simulations basically run on the PC. Then just when we started hearing those stories about PS3 is a difficult platform. Everybody was saying that PS3 is an impossible. Even Valve said, today Valve is bullish about the PS3 is another thing, but that time they said that this is an impossible platform. You can't, it's a difficult memory architecture. They did it on purpose. Everybody was talking about it, so we were like, are we committing suicide just by thinking of going for PS3? We can always start small, do some PC stuff or something. Then we reaffirm our fact, what we started with. Be a trendsetter, think big. There is no point in just listening to all this story. Just stick to what we have decided, and we stick to PS3. Then we, after the CDD and all those, we start working on our game design. This is how it actually, briefly. It was not a very professional game design document because we didn't know the art of doing it, to be very frank. So, but game got a clear vision. You can see that we had the chapters, what cars will feature in each level, what is the type of objective you need to achieve, what are the conditions you can actually win that, and the duration, a possible duration to finish that. Then our game gets a logo. That's how it actually looked like. It looks like car, it looks like SNS. And PlayStation is definitely not easy. So now Ashwini can talk about certain issues we face with this difficult platform. Definitely it's not easy, but it's not impossible also. Switch it on.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. The first thing that first problem that we faced initially when we tried to port our game from whatever we had on PC was that we got 1 FPS. I mean, you know that the games are supposed to be having a minimum 30 FPS, but then again, we started with 1 FPS, and the next thing it did was it just flat crashed. So we were like, okay, yeah, we know that it is pretty difficult, and we have been told that it cannot be done so easily. But then we didn't give up, and as you just mentioned that think big. So we started to dig in, went through the debuggers and found out that the basic problem that we had was not on the PPU. If you understand PPU and GPU, so a main problem was not on the CPU side, it was on the GPU side that it was having low memory. The memory on the PS3 on GPU side is 256 MB. So you need to have your art content pretty compact, nothing more than what you need. So that was one area where we were having trouble. So we cut down on our art assets, started with whatever was necessary only, and then get to a good point, and then on that point onward you add what is required to add quality to it. And the next problem that we frequently faced was PS3 compiler is pretty less forgiving compared to Microsoft compiler. Like it adheres to C++ standards pretty hardly compared to where certain areas Microsoft compiler will forgive you. Like if you don't initialize a variable, I mean, I hope I'm not getting too technical about these things. So if you don't initialize a variable in Microsoft, it will be initialized for you in certain cases, but not on PS3. It will just put the garbage value and let you deal with some random errors. Just keep figuring out what went wrong. Everything was fine on the PC, and now what is going wrong on PS3. But the good thing is that things are pretty well placed on Sony website, PS3 development website. You go there, dig in. So the next thing that we did, and that was pretty important thing, was that we digged in and found the different tools that were available apart from main debugging tools. Any topics, any discussions, any other tools that we could use on PS3 to debug the scenarios. And that is one important thing that you should do whenever you are starting on a PS3. And the next thing that we kept in mind was that assets were tested as and when they done. Keep it simple, immediately test it out, then enhance it, scale it up, and then keep adding the features.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay, 3 months of development, we had a good prototype. So after learning, we quickly learned because of the technical team we had that we were committing a lot of mistakes here and there. So we started working on, first focus was to have something which works, which has physics, which has the core focus, the core hook is shown. And this was our first prototype, which was showcasing the destruction in the environment. You could use tornado to push your car and see the car juiced up by the tornado. And then, of course, some cars and the mammoothness of some car. And we got a trailer then. So whatever limited creativity we had that time, we did our best. And then, of course, some of the lessons which we learned, and in fact, everybody should take care of these. Start prototyping as early as you can. Don't start making the game. First, make everything, every element should be there. Do a prototype of everything. Then classes configurable is just his thing. Then make small assets and start checking the performance on the PS3 or whatever console you're making, Don't make the whole thing and then push it there and see how it works. You'll definitely get 1 FPS. So then add a lot of debugging support, invest in employee learning. We were very patient. We just gave enough time to all the people. Learn and take your own time to, reach the level. And then we started showcasing whatever prototype and trailer we had in Game Connection, GDC, and E3. Game Connection happens generally at 2 places, one in San Francisco and another one in Lyon. Now it's in Paris this year, but in France. So, and GDC San Francisco, we took a booth and we started showcasing, we started meeting people. We had crazy number of meetings that time. After coming back, we thought that the world is in our head. We were bigger than what we had actually thought. People were actually talking about us. People were discussing several outsourcing opportunities also, which we were not ready for and still not ready. And after returning back, and to move this whole gaming team in a new company and come out of Zen. You can see still the product says Zen Technologies in the prototype stage. So we thought of moving out, preferably in SEZ because our business was outside. And we understood all the basics of publishing deal. Just in case, if you want to know how the publishing deal works, this can be, useful for you. Generally, whenever publishers are saying 30-70 or 40-60 or 20-80 ratio, they are not talking about that $60 price. They are talking about this $33 price. Rest all goes in the courts. So just in case, generally these are the number. If you are spending $40 million on a game and the cost and all, you need to sell at least 24,000, copies to break even. So we started this version 2 games. We had 34 possible names for the studio, and it was a tough task, much bigger than making a game for us. And we finally chose version 2 games. And then the game gets a logo, which you can see there on top. And then we get a new facility, sprawling, huge area in a very creative kind of place. And the mantra was make kick-ass games, nothing else. Like no simulation, no barrier, just come here, make lives of these guys. These guys I pulled out from Zen. These are those guys who were working in Zen, working on Zen. And this is our new office there in Hyderabad. And these are some of the facilities. And then meanwhile, when I was involved in all the new company thing, SEZ and all those things, work keeps going on. And surprisingly, you people say that, the outsourcing is a difficult art, but my Australian fellow, the guy who did the sound, it was the most fantastic experience ever I've got. I'm in this industry for the last 16 years, did a lot of outsourcing, worked on outsourcing projects, given a lot of things on outsourcing, but never got that kind of experience. This guy has already worked on all the NFS, all the flat out, all the titles, all the big car games. His name is Greg Hill. So we appointed him as this outsourced partner for the sound for all the cars. He did super commendable job. We just gave him, just took the work, nothing in between. It was smooth. And the game hook was maintained, destruction, car, vehicle combat. Of course, a lot of people were saying that your physics does not look like game physics. It looks like very simulation kind of physics, because we had inherited those genes. So still it was too realistic. People were finding it hard to drive the car. It was like more, if you know, the race drivers grade and all those games. It was at that level, plus much more like spring suspension and other things what you see. So it was not going down too well with the rest of the people. So then we hired the best agent in the industry, as they say. I don't. To negotiate the deals with publishers, to source Xbox 360 somehow, to negotiate deals with tool providers, because they said that you paid extra for Infernal, to help correct the loopholes in the studios, like we never had a creative director and all those positions. Things start going wrong just then. Agent, the game is, they actually made us realize that the only aggressive conquer the world, and we said yes. They made us realize, and we were like, kids in the, then repercussions were like all the ideas were sent to the cold bags by the publishers. Nobody was directly talking to us. In fact, we never knew what's happening. And then, like, we had the 360-degree pressure, and the problem is the studio didn't know in which direction we are going. And because we were not involved in that, they were talking to the publisher, taking decisions, finally passing those, and we were like, okay, why? We waited for 4 months, and like, finally, what the hell is going on? And they said, boss, deal cancel. And we had to kick the butt of those agents. Those, they were definitely, they are supposed to be the best in the industry, but we didn't have that experience at all. Then we immediately corrected ourselves. We focused on what we had, narrowed down the scope, but kept the game hook solid. Contacted all the publishers again, hired Pascal Lubin, and if you don't know Pascal Lubin, he is the game designer and the level designer of Splinter Cell series, Alone in the Dark series, and over 50 games he has done. So we hired him to do all the corrective game design things which we lost track of. So all corrected, seems like. Game looks good, gameplay is good. So is it good to get released? Absolute no, because the gameplay testing was, because the whole game concept changed. So we thought of going ahead with gameplay testing, which Pascal is very bullish about. He always talks about a lot of gameplay testing and stuff. Gameplay testing is nothing but calling people to get abused. They'll come, they will test your game, and they'll abuse your game right then and there. It's bad. It's not good. It doesn't play good. They'll talk like in certain things, we got 3 rating. We had our survey form, out of 10, so we got 3 rating, 4 rating, and all those sort of things. But it was an important exercise for all of us. Game improved immensely after taking all the suggestions from all the gameplay testing, and in fact, a lot of time should be given to the gameplay testing. If you don't give it, probably you're always focused on what you think is right, which not necessarily is always the case, unless you have very experienced teams. Then, of course, in short, this is what gameplay testing does for you. It actually makes your game suck less. So, then game improves immensely after this, hundreds of improvement. And again, my stakeholders was generous. They gave me 4 more months to correct all the things which had gone wrong, or whatever had been suggested by the gameplay testers. And now, then we submitted the game to Sony, and a couple of IPA passes, the stage 2 passes, and format QA, the game gets approved completely. There were some surprises, like the invite system, the party mode sort of thing in the PlayStation. We never knew that is a mandatory thing. It's a technical requirement by PlayStation. So it came at the last minute, but again, we were like pretty good at that, and we finished in 7 days. Thanks to Sony again, because they had very clearly laid out website and clearly laid out APIs. And by this time, our guys had clear understanding of the PlayStation as the platform. So we could do it. Then this is what we learned from our relationship with Sony. You know, they are very good at feedbacks. Even if you are like third party or first party, they'll always give very constructive feedback. Generally it takes 15 days for your submissions and all. And if you have any problem, they'll bring in all the subject matter experts in the discussion. Okay, and parallelly we were doing our promo. We had one goal in mind, make a promo which does not misguide people. Which should be, it should not, show something and finally the game showcase something else, So then the core focus was still on the destruction. First promo was to feature the cars and not the environment much. Then we got our entry on the Sony's official PlayStation website. We put the trailers on gametrailers.com, everybody knows, and we got 9.2 rating with average, this is the average. We got a lot of good comments, and there are around 20,000 people who voted. So it's a great feat again, Now what the game offers is 10 unique maps, campaign mode, 19 missions, individual game modes, native 2 players, and just a quick This is like 1.5 months back, but yeah, certain improvements still there. So okay, we never thought that SNS stops here, Smash and Survive stops here. We want to build a franchisee. Of course, it's it's in the future, but it's not right here. But we are coming with the SNS track edition, which is like racing with a lot of destruction in place, and then SNS Reprisal, which is the full-blown what we actually started with. Game, it's like we have all things ready, just need to put some more points which we always need to take care of is to create good relationship with the platform, think about release date, just be good with the numbers, how things are happening with our resources involved, and spend some time and money for the promo, because it actually word of mouth, it's a gaming fraternity, everybody knows everyone, so good to spread word. Make DLCs, reach the world, port, but don't be lazy, because we are planning now to port our game on Xbox, but we want to add certain values. It shouldn't be just port, save as XB file, and so we are actually giving enough time to that. And then virtual goods on PS Home, we'll start putting a lot of virtual goods on the PS Home thing. Okay, this is our next game which we are already working on, and before I go back to the promo, I would like to you to see this. This is we are working on. This is again, it's a PS Move Ready game. We call it Tum. This is internal name. It's an action adventure. This has already been approved by Sony again. I'll not give much detail about this, except the fact that the humans have been enslaved, the earth is lifeless, robots have enslaved all the human beings, and it. Just a teaser. And it has got lot of things. In fact, it's completely unique. I can promise you that. You'll get to know after 15th of December. Because I'm showcasing this in Game Connection Paris. And after that, we'll give you the name. And the title will speak itself, like, what the game is all about. It has never been tried. And going back to the trailer, which we were talking about, like placing on the game trailer, we invested time, money, everything on that. And still, maintaining what it actually has to offer. That's it. So that's how we started big, got small, again thing, and today we are capable of producing any game, any type of game. Our team is quite mature. Our studio is now Pascal Luban, who started as this, now is the creative director in our studio. And the studio has a clear focus, clear understanding. We spent close to 8 months on the current title, Tum. And we are going to finish this by February, most probably. But we are not in a hurry. We will go through enough gameplay testing. We'll definitely like to add a lot of experience in the game. And we would definitely like this game to be on Xbox 360 also. Time will tell. Thank you very much. That's it. Any question you can ask us. That's okay with us, in fact.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks for the answer and thanks for the awesome presentation.
Thank you. Both? No, not really. It's basically, again, the same kind of philosophy we have. We always keep seeing the resources availability and other things. So most of the time, our core team is always on, the big thing. Then gameplay, generally the changes which are being done in the SNS and whatever had been done were more in the gameplay. So gameplay actually is like a later phase when you actually have everything, your framework is ready, your all the AI, physics and other things are ready. So when these guys are working on those, because they already completed their task on SNS, so they moved on, and the gameplay or mission programmers, they are working on the SNS things and changing all those things. Because the gameplay, that aspect will start now.
Since Zen is mostly into simulations and other
Yes.
things, and Smash and Survive is all about destruction derby, and so you definitely had to draw a line somewhere between realism and arcadey sort of a gameplay.
Yeah.
So how much time did you spend? I mean, just a ballpark thing. How much of say in a percentage time did you spend in recalibrating and balance and other issues?
Ashwini would like to highlight on that. Though I know, I can.
As initially mentioned, the first one, first playtesting that we did was like you have a too realistic car physics. The initial video that you saw was having a spring and all those things, but then drivability was not fun as far as the game is concerned. It was realistic. So given that scenario, we had to spend around 2 months time on the physics time, reworking the components that needed more fun element.
One of the issue here again, was Infernal. No car game in its catalog. So car physics was another, something which we actually, we had to write. Even that realistic car physics, we had given a lot of time on that and got that. But suddenly it was not going down too well with the audience, the kind of people who were coming in and people seeing those games and stuff. So then, but the basics still remain the same. We just needed to tweak certain things and, probably removal is generally easier, So we took 2 months time and, got arcade-ish kind of thing, which is like fun to play kind of thing, not too realistic.
Were the trailers done in-house or did you have to outsource those?
Yeah, come again?
Sorry?
Were the trailers also done in-house or did you outsource?
All in-house. All in-house. Initial trailer, the first trailer which you saw, the guy standing on the cliff and all, that was outsourced.
Just to add to that, that 2 month was not a time dedicated by the whole team. It was 2 programmers primarily working on the physics component, just to clarify.
Any other question?
Is a vehicle concepts are from affiliated with any car models, existing car models, or you come up with your own vehicle models or
You're talking about the concepts or the modeling?
modeling?
Huh?
Yeah, modeling and concept.
Modeling are completely in-house.
Yeah.
Concepts, what I believe that we have 42 cars in our game. In
Yeah.
fact, all 42 concept cars. It's really tough for one person or two person to
Yeah.
come with 42 different
Yeah,
ideas
that's
all
one.
together.
Yeah.
So we have 2 concept artists in our company, but those were not good enough. So we outsourced a lot of car concept creation.
So all are completely new.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. 42 absolute unique cars which you can customize also.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. And since I'm not in the first half of the presentation, what kind of technologies you are used, like game engines, any like Unreal Engine?
We use the Infernal engine,
Okay.
and we have a lot of middlewares like we have
Middleware, like
SpeedTree, we have SpeedTree, we have Miles, and what's another thing? Fmod for the sound.
Is there any India support on the PlayStation, or you just connect to the Japan?
It's not for India.
Yeah, yeah.
It's only for US and Europe.
Europe, okay.
Yes. So we are acting locally but selling globally.
The dev kits you get by the US or Europe.
Come again, please.
Dev kits, PS3 dev kits, support licenses.
Yeah, those are from Europe.
Okay.
So in fact, Indian territory is governed by Sony Europe. So
Okay,
if they, just in case if they decide, they can launch it here.
not
But
Sony
right now
Japan,
the talks are that they are first focusing on those areas and then they'll plan a launch here and all that. So we're not too involved in those decisions. And it's fine for us.
Okay. So the game is now available all the marketplaces around the world. PS3. Yeah. So yeah. Did you showcase the game box?
What's that?
That means the game box PS3 cover, box cover, title box.
Box. Okay, box cover. I have it. I didn't show. In fact, I need to just pull it out from somewhere. It's there on the Facebook and everywhere. So.
Do you have any ballpark figures on your mind that the number of shipments that will justify the return on the investment that you have made on this game? And secondly, how do you plan to market this game? Do you want to pitch in as India's first PS3 game and primarily look into Indian market?
No. I'll first answer the second question. I don't want to pitch it as the India's first PS3 game. That's why I didn't put it here also. It is a game for the gamers. That's it. And that's what my focus has always been. I'm not too bullish about the local content, PS2, because it supports the Indian territory. We are making game because we know pretty much the art of making game. Like we learned how to make simulation. Now we are making game for the gamers, for which anybody like you want to play, you can play. Somebody in US wants to play, you can play. So we don't want to pitch it like that. Neither our studio is pitched as India's best console game or the only console or only PS3 studio or sort of thing. We are a studio which is making world-class game, wants to make world-class game, sell to the world, the global territory. What was your first question again?
If you can share some ballpark figures which will justify your return on investment that you have made on this game.
Investment?
Yeah.
Investment.
When you started thinking about this game, was the idea of creating a legacy or a chain of games on the same
Same
brand,
thing?
on the same brand, or
The idea is generally, one thing which is very common if you go to GDC US and all, they generally talk, which we learned, and we talked with a lot of people also. Every game should be sequel ready. Every game should be, like every IP should be a franchisee kind of thing. That's how we start with. Whether we can make it a franchisee or not, whether we can actually sustain this IP or not is another story. So, but every studio wants to do that. Like Red Dead Redemption, if it stops there, it's probably heartbreaking for us. It should actually continue. I would love to see it continue. Of course, there is something which the concept is died. So, but, there are a lot of things I can know. But I would say that yes, some things should continue. So we would like to, because we have some demographic survey data with us, which says that this game will sell X number of copies, which I will not share here because that's not the agenda right now. So that actually gives us confidence that boss, when we have physics, when we have AI, when we have car, when we have all those, only thing missing is those kind of tracks which are required for racing. Let's go ahead and do it. So it's not that kind of effort, but still the experience will be altogether new for the users. So you play NFS Most Wanted and you play NFS Hot Pursuit and then you play NSF Shift. So it's something like that. So we want to do that. And then the SNS Reprisal, because we have everything ready for SNS Reprisal. This is, we are considering as a prologue, which also has its own market and stuff. Then we had actually a lot of twist and tail, multiple ending kind of game, which was there, which we worked and which we almost finished. Why not, now we have finished this, we are at the verge of finishing next. Why not to, tighten each and every corner of that and release that similar multiple ending car-based game. I would definitely tout it as the world's first multiple ending kind of car vehicle combat game. So definitely yes.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Rajat, I personally should say that the trailers were truly amazing.
Thank you.
And I personally will wait for the game to be released in the market.
21st November, wait for it.
So, on behalf of NASCOM, I'd just like to present this interview.
Thank you.